James catches, puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound Bosch. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Lewis Sports Network. It is your boy Lewis coming back at you once again with another heavy hitter live stream. Excuse me, I said live stream. I meant to say banger because this is an uploaded video with yet another video. So smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, make sure your notifications are turned on, make sure you guys are sharing this on your social media platforms. Truly appreciate it. Hope everybody is having a wonderful Friday afternoon. So there were comments made by Jeanie when she was on the All the Smoke podcast, and they were talking about most important Lakers in Laker history. And she was mentioning guys off the top of their head like Kareem. She talked about Phil, Magic, Kobe. She mentioned LeBron. There was really no mention of like guys like Jerry West or Elgin Baylor, and that kind of set off Jerry West a little bit. And Jerry West thought it was the most offensive thing that he had ever heard, and that he doesn't really normally take credit for things that had happened like in the front office, but he felt like he was a good luck charm, and he felt that, you know.
Yes. One of the most offensive things I've ever heard in my life. Let's put it this way. I was there a lot of times, and had a lot of success, and would be curious to know why, if they would have had that success if I hadn't been there. And we had Pete, we had a little small staff, and I don't ever take credit for stuff. I don't. But when I was around, maybe I was just a good luck charm, okay? But I do know that when this thing fell apart, there was a lot of years that they weren't very good.
You know, he had a little something to do with helping the Lakers continuing the success in the history of their franchise. I'm going to give Jeanie a bit of a pass here because I felt like she was on the spot. I know other people are going to feel different, but, you know, everyone has a right to their opinion. So I respect if you guys believe that she was wrong for what she said, that's fine. But I'm going to give her a little bit of a pass because she had to think of all these names on the spot. So, and she's going to show a little bit of bias towards Phil Jackson, who him and Jerry, they don't have a good relationship. Let's be perfectly honest. I would put Pat Riley before Phil. So it really depends on who you kind of like have in your tiers. Now, if we're just talking about players, LeBron James, I'm going to say belongs in the tier, but he doesn't belong in the upper tier. He is pretty much the new kid on the block. This is his third season. I remember just a couple of years ago, no, not even a couple of years ago, at the beginning of last year, you know, there's been a couple of posts about how Shaq and AD can become top 5 all-time Lakers. And I was like, you can't put yourself in the top 5 when you haven't accomplished anything yet. Now, are they the best duo in the NBA? When they're fully healthy, absolutely. I'm going to give them that credit. They're the best duo in the NBA. But we're talking about all-time tier Lakers, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot put a LeBron James, despite the fact that he won a championship last year, yes, and it was in his second season, I cannot put him above guys like Shaq, Kareem, Magic, Kobe, even Elgin Baylor. I mean, where is the love for George Mikan, for God's sakes? I know he played in the 50s, but he was the NBA's first real star, number one. And number two, in 6 years, the Lakers won 5 championships when they were in Minneapolis, and he was a part of that. He 3-peated and 2-peated. So George Mikan has to be in the upper tier, even though he played so long ago. I mean, Elgin Baylor, we're talking about a guy who dealt with racism. We're talking about a guy who really was one of the first African Americans and really first basketball players to really play in the air. Not really much more so dunking, but, you know, doing acrobatic layups and just playing really above the rim, you know? So he was one of the really first guys that have a really flashy game for a perimeter player. And then obviously Jerry West, I mean, he may be 1-8 in the NBA finals, but he went to 9 NBA finals with one franchise. That's number one. And number two, you can't measure also the impact that he's had as an executive. I mean, the guy has helped orchestrate multiple championship teams with the likes of the Magic Johnsons and the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, and eventually the Kobe and Shaq Lakers that would come in and be the new era of the new millennium into the 2000s when they 3-peated. So you got to put Jerry West up there. You know, and, you know, Anthony Davis, again, Anthony Davis is younger. I don't know how many years he's going to be with the Lakers, but he probably, depending on how they build around AD, he has more of an opportunity to go in the upper tier. We don't know how long LeBron is going to be playing basketball if he's going to keep playing with the Lakers. We don't know. But my thing is that I'll put LeBron in the tier, but he doesn't belong in the upper tier. I would put him and AD in this. They would pretty much be in the same tier in terms of Lakers, depending on where you put them. But come on, man, Shaquille O'Neal. In 8 seasons, the guy won 3 titles, 3 Finals MVPs, 3-peated. Excuse me. Elgin Baylor went winless in the NBA Finals. I think he went 0-8 because him and Jerry West were together for 8 NBA Finals. And unfortunately, his knee injury after the first 9 games of the season, he ended up retiring where the Lakers won 33 straight games. And on top of that, ended up winning the NBA championship with the most victories in one season at the time with 69. So you can't, and then if you have Phil, he won 5 NBA titles with the Lakers as a coach. Pat Riley won 4 championships, with the Lakers in the 80s. And then you talk about so many finals trips that the Lakers went into the 80s. And then you got Magic, Kareem, and then you also got James Worthy. I can't really put them up with those guys, man. So, but it is what it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy Lewis with another one. Let me know what you think on the comments that Jerry West had made about what he said about Jeanie Buss in terms of what her most important Lakers are. But like I said, I don't begrudge Jeanie because she was kind of put on the spot, so it was tough for her to think. So anyway, bless up, live, laugh, love. Thank you guys for watching.
Shouts out to Jeanie Buss, one of the greatest ever to do it. However, on the All the Smoke podcast, she just recently named her most important Lakers in the history.
This. I'm glad we're talking about this.
I'm just saying, Kareem, Kobe, Magic, LeBron, and Phil Jackson. So those are her top 5.
I mean, you got to have Shaq in there. I mean, I'm not just saying that because he's here. I mean, that's just facts.
Where's the logo Jerry West? How come he is not mentioned amongst the greatest Lakers of all time? And it goes without saying throwing Shaq in there. I mean, come on now, let's be real.
Look, I'm not mad about that. Listen, she's Jeanie Buss. That's her opinion. You ask other people, the names vary. So at 49, I'm a lot more peaceful than I was. If I was 29, I would say, hold on, LeBron's only been there 720 days. How you going to put him before me?
Well, I don't think you have to be mad to have a healthy debate. First of all, how do you have a statue outside Staples Center and you not be considered one of the top 5 Lakers of all time? That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Great point.
Taken by Iguodala. They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!